Hi everyone, so I just thought I'd share with you what we've been doing this weekend. This was just before the craziness of the Easter holidays started, and I got time alone with coffee and an almond croissant, and I wrote in my journal, and then I did a bit of painting as well and tried to not overthink it too much. I also found a recipe online for like sprinkle cookies with the sprinkles in the dough, so I made those and then made some like thick kind of blue icing to go on top as a treat for the girls when they got home from school. And then it was a lovely day, so they got to paint in the back garden. This is kind of a tradition of ours where we like get out the tray and they get to do crafts outside in the sunshine. And I kind of enjoy doing art outside as well. The only downside is if it's a bit windy, it can all kind of blow away. But yeah, they were just working on something from their art box where they basically had to make different little patterned bits of paper for collages, and they could just paint it however they want, and then we'll make another project with it. I was just having a look at the newspaper. It's like the NI for Kids one that tells you everything that's on locally for kids, and had a cup of tea in the garden and just got to sit. I think that was the first time that we'd properly like sat out for a while in the garden, and I could kind of imagine it being the summertime. Yeah, the girls thought it was hilarious when they started using straws to blow the paint everywhere and it was making like farting noises. Yeah, and then they kind of kept coming and going with that and working on it over a couple of hours. This is just the beginning of the Easter holidays. We went out for lunch in town because we were going in to do the Easter trail, and we just stopped at Cafe Nero and got something to eat quickly, and then we walked into town, and not from home, just like I had parked kind of nearby, and then this is just some of the like scenery while we were walking around, because I really like to see like parts of different places, especially if I haven't been there, just to kind of get a glimpse of what they're like. So I don't know, maybe it'll be interesting to someone. It's kind of weird how much everywhere has changed. Like, it makes me realize I'm getting old, that all of the shops and stuff have changed. My daughter was obsessed with those bikes, and I had to convince her to get off it and explain that they were actually for adults. I don't think she could actually stay balanced on one anyway, but she thinks she could. So basically there was like a link online, and you had to go in and it showed you where to start, and there was a map of the hunt, so you had to go to different shops and find the eggs that are kind of hidden in them, and then there was a clue at each one that you then had to kind of input and get all the right answers in the quiz. And it's kind of a cool way to get your kids walking really far. I think it's like incentive to keep them walking, and they got really excited with every egg that we found. It wasn't as good as last year, because last year they kind of rewarded kids with things along the way, but this time they didn't have anything like that, and when you finished it all, it was like a chance to enter to win a gift card, which would be really good, but the chances of winning that are like pretty slim. But I don't know, we still enjoyed having something to do after they got out of school early. Dawn. Where are you going? And then we just continued to hunt for eggs. The girls actually like don't complain too much about being dragged around, I think, because since they were quite small, I've always like done a lot of walking with them, and we kind of have gone to different places and explored a lot, so they're sort of used to it. It usually will kind of, they will start to complain towards the end of a day out, but it's not too bad. I saw this place and I thought it looked really cute, so I wanted to kind of remember it and come back to it at some point. And yeah, this is another egg they spotted. It's funny though, because whenever you go into some of the shops that have the eggs in them, they literally act like the eggs have just fallen out of the sky and happened to land in their shop, and that they didn't actually know about it until you pointed it out to them, which I find weird, because I thought it was like something that was agreed upon between the businesses and the council or whoever it is that runs it. But yeah, it's just funny, like the response of some people whenever you arrive looking for the eggs. I think we were probably one of the first families to actually do the hunt as well, because it literally started that day and the girls had just finished school early. I think we saw one other family that were going around trying to do it with like younger kids, and I think that's pretty brave as well. But yeah, they had a pram and they had their little Easter baskets, and then the girls were complaining that I hadn't brought Easter baskets for them, but there was actually nothing to put in them, so I would have just ended up carrying them in my backpack along with everything else that the girls handed me. Yeah, so they just stopped at every egg to get a picture with it, and then we went into this place. It said, come in for a special Easter treat. I did a short about this, just it's a really nice chocolate shop, but the staff were a bit unfriendly and they didn't actually provide an Easter treat, and instead were kind of unwelcoming. But I got the girls a chocolate lolly each, and I tried the chili hot chocolate, which was really nice, and I would actually go back just because the hot chocolate was so nice. The next day we went to Mount Stewart, which is a National Trust place not too far from where we live. They had an Easter trail on as well, so I decided to take the girls to do that. I thought it would be really, really busy, but it wasn't bad at all actually. It was like £3 each for them to do the hunt, and they just got like a little map, and it had different activities for kids to do along the way, so it was really good. And then at the end they won like a chocolate egg. Yeah, we just like had to stop and get the stuff at this wee like kiosk, and then that's the big house. I used to go in like for tours of it. I haven't really been in with the kids. I actually would like to go at some point in the summer, just because I've kind of forgotten what all is inside, and I feel like they're finally at that age where they're not going to run off and just like break stuff, so it might be more manageable. They really enjoyed this little obstacle course, and they were racing each other and turning it into a competition, which they always do. One of my kids wanted to wear the bunny ears that were provided, the other one refused to wear them. I guess she's getting to that age now where she thinks that it's not cool, and she's worried like people will see her wearing them, which I remember being like, because I remember on holiday, like my dad made me wear like a poncho. I think it had Minnie Mouse on it or something in Florida, and I was so embarrassed that I cried and I refused to wear it and just got soaked instead because I was just like mortified. This was really cool. It was like a little area with bits of wood for the kids to build their own version of the Mount Stewart house. So they got really into this, and the only problem with it is that they expect other kids to just like keep their buildings like a shrine and not dismantle them, which obviously they're going to do to build their own. So yeah, we got pictures of them, but they were kind of like sad that they were gone later in the day. But I just love the way they have these little like points for kids, because it just breaks up the walk and makes it more exciting for them. And then we saw this tree. It was like a tree in memory of people that had passed away from cancer, and I don't know, I thought it was really nice, and I didn't realise, but the girls found out that each ribbon on it had the person's name on it. It was kind of sad, but also like a nice way to acknowledge them, and good for like family members. And it was so nice to see bright coloured flowers out, because I feel like I haven't seen any flowers in so long. Like we'd seen some snowdrops, but no real colour, and it just feels like it's been such a long winter. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like it's gone on for about a year, and I'm just ready for like nice warm weather and like pretty coloured flowers and all of the spring and summer things. And I'm just like hoping that we get a good summer so we can spend lots of time outdoors, and it actually makes it easier to not spend loads of money as well, because you can go to like parks and have picnics, and just like you don't have to pay to go to all of these like things that entertain children when it's raining outside basically. So it helps with that too. Yeah, the girls love climbing trees. I don't think we'll ever get too old for that. And I think there were 10 points on the trail, and with different like activities for them to do, so they really enjoyed like going looking for all of those. What did you find? Careful. I think it's funny how kids are always drawn to the muddiest like part of any place that we go to, like, and it's always when they're not wearing wellies, they just want to walk through swamps. But yeah, they always seem to find a bridge and they want to play poo sticks on it, but then they act disgusted if their stick never appears on the other side of the bridge. And yeah, like, I don't know why, but I just feel so much happier whenever I'm in a forest or around trees and able to watch like streams. I love watching water just like gently running, and it just makes me feel more like centered. I think that life can be so rushed, and the school run and all of the stuff that happens during term time, it can feel too frantic sometimes, and I feel like it's not always great for my mental health. Like, I just feel like I'm running from one place to the other, and sometimes it feels like we don't have time to properly sit down and chat, or to like do these sort of mindful things like in our free time. It just feels like there isn't enough of it. So that's one thing I really love about the school holidays and getting the opportunity to do that and kind of have your own pace. The girls got really excited about this little tree, and I just thought it was cute, and they always remind me to be happy about simple things in life, and to stop and take time to like climb a tree and just like appreciate the little things around you. They love this bird's nest thing and climbing in it, and yeah, it was like, actually it was good that they had little arrows throughout to sort of guide you where you were going, because otherwise I wouldn't have found that part. And I just thought the daffodils were also cheerful looking here. The girls always love this little bridge, but usually when we pass it there's always other people on it, so they were kind of happy they got to go on it this time and see the swans and just like talk to the ducks and things. This was funny because they had to sniff and guess what the smells were, and some of them were really nice flowers, but the middle one was like, it was a really strange smell. We couldn't work out what it was at first, and it turned out it was badger poo, which I only found out after like sniffing it for ages, thinking it was a flower. And yeah, I can still smell it right now actually, thinking about it. This was just when we were approaching the house again, and we were kind of finished with the walk around the lake, and this was the final like activity for the kids to do. They love these beanbag toss things, where they had to throw it through the holes to get points, and they both just get so competitive about stuff like that. I don't know why, because I haven't encouraged that, and I've always kind of just told them to have fun with things and to not turn it into like being about who wins, but they just seem to naturally do that with each other. Maybe most siblings at that age do, I don't know, but yeah, I just think it's funny that they're like that. And they were so happy when they got their eggs as their prize. Then we just stopped for like, I got a coffee and the girls got some mini ice lollies. They were funny because they were like eating the same one at the exact same time as each other, like the same speed, so that they weren't allowed to finish it without each other. I just think it's weird the way kids do that with things. And then I just was enjoying sitting in this little peaceful area and listening to the birds and watching them flying around. And then we finished our walk with a trip to the formal gardens, which are always really beautiful and peaceful. And the girls had a quick game of hide and seek, and then we headed back in the direction of the car. And of course we got sucked into the bookshop on the way out, and actually we didn't buy anything for a change, but I just love the like second-hand bookshops in the National Trust. Like, they always have an interesting selection of books that you never really find elsewhere, and they had a lot of local ones too. I love the way Mount Stewart kind of feels like exotic, like even whenever it's not that sunny, there's something about the variety of plants and the way that it's all like laid out that makes me feel like I'm in Italy or somewhere like that.
It's made of reed, and the reeds are all twisted like a little rope. And then you weave it like this, and this covers the whole seat here, and you can sit on it. This is before we had plastic and all sorts of other materials to use as seats.
And this is just back at the car park where you can see this like Strangford Lock, and I always just think it looks so calm, like and I like seeing the birds just like walking around doing their thing. And it was funny because in the car park we saw our last car, which was like a bright yellow car, and it was like the exact one that we had, and I had returned it to like the other side of Northern Ireland, so it's funny that we ended up at the exact same place on the same day as whoever owns it now, and the girls were all excited to see it. I think like they still miss it because it was a yellow car and it was just like really bright and cheerful, but we couldn't fit like any of our stuff into it, so that was kind of like impractical. But I just love this view. I really want to like try to paint it. I took some photos of it that I might try to work from. And yeah, thanks for watching and joining us, and I'll see you soon. Bye.